Hi, my name is Sami Skinner. I'm a Reiki artist and Sami ambassador, and today I want to show you a shullet. So, I don't know about you, but my clients have been getting shags for a couple years now, and it's been really popular, and a lot of them are ready to just jump into something a little more, but they're not quite ready to commit to a mullet, which is basically cutting up over the ear. So today we're gonna kind of bridge that gap in between, and I'm gonna show you the way that I like to create a shullet. So let's get into it. I like to break this into 3 sections: the front and the bang together into one, the top and the perimeter, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and section that out. So what I like to do first is I like to find where my bang section is going to be. How I do that is by laying the comb on the front, and wherever it comes off of the head is what is going to fall forward naturally. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find that section here. We're gonna use our Sami comb that has like this little part drawer in it, which is great. I'm gonna come here right in the top, and I'm just gonna trace a line over to their ear, okay? So now we have our bang sectioned out, and we have our face frame sectioned out on this side. So I'm just gonna go and do that on the other side. Okay, now that our bang is sectioned out, we're gonna determine where our top is going to be, okay? So how I like to do that is by laying the comb again on the side of the head and seeing where the comb comes off of the head, because that's where the curvature of the head starts, which is really where we're gonna be able to see those layers and be able to kind of see like how it lays on top, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start right here at kind of where their recession is, and I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do a zigzag section, okay? And I'm gonna go really deep with it, okay? So up, down, up, down, up, down. And what I like to do is end a little past the midline in the back. Why do I like to do that? So that way we're even on both sides, because if we were to hit it, we'd have to hit it right in the middle each time, right? So we're gonna do half, and we're gonna clip this up, and then I'm gonna come in, you can see the zigzag happening there, and I'm gonna start it on the exact same on the other side, okay? And you can see that this back one here is right in the middle, so we have even zigzag on both sides, okay? So we're gonna start with our fringe, we're gonna then go to our perimeter, and then we're gonna go to the top. I'm gonna be working with the Sami razor today. I love this razor because of the swivel and the rubber handle. When you're using a razor, you wanna make sure that your guest or whoever you're working on is really wet, okay? That's really gonna help with a clean cut. Is we're going to cut out a little triangle right here in the front, okay? And this is gonna be where we establish our length of the bang. So I like to start out a little bit longer on a real person, but because they're not gonna care, we're gonna go a little bit more to the mid of their forehead, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come in with my Sami razor here, and I'm just gonna create my guide. And there we go. Until we get to the outer corners of the eyebrow, we're gonna repeat this motion back and forth, okay? I'm gonna pull it over and over direct to the other side. What this means and what this is gonna do is this is gonna create long to short, which is really what we're kind of looking for. We're kind of looking for somewhat of like a crescent shape. And then we're just gonna come in and we're gonna slide cut with our razor, taking off that length, and starting to establish our bang, okay? And now I'm gonna come to the other side. I like to work back and forth because I find that it creates a lot of balance within your haircut, okay? So then what we're gonna do is take this section here, bring it over, using that middle section as our guide, holding our hand steady, we're gonna take our Sami razor and we're gonna just carve that all the way down. And the lovely thing about this haircut is if there's little long pieces here and there while you're using your razor, don't get stressed out about it. Just come back later and take it off, okay? And now I'm gonna come back to this side, and I'm gonna repeat this until I get to the outer corners of her eyebrow. So now that we've finished our bang, we stopped when we got to the corner of the eyebrow, is we're gonna carve out little petals on the side. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna help those bangs kick out, but then it's also gonna create a guide for our face frame. Again, I'm gonna start with diagonal sections. That's gonna be our guide, and I'm just gonna come in and seesaw my way down with my razor, okay? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use that reference point for each piece, okay? So instead of continuing down, We're gonna come in for our next section. So it's kind of like a diagonal section. It's not really vertical, it's not really diagonal. Right there is where our guide is. We're gonna kind of come right under that and start to seesaw our way down again. And we're gonna do this till we get right to the ear. All right, and now I'm gonna find my guide right in that second location there, come in, seesaw my way down. And the length that you leave here is really gonna be dependent on you and your client and what you guys have decided. Personal preference, I'm liking it falling right about here. Okay, now that we have finished both sides, we're gonna start on the perimeter. So we're gonna make this really easy. So I'm liking the length where she's at, so I don't really wanna mess with that too much, but what I do wanna do is I wanna collapse this perimeter in so it's not so heavy. So what I'm gonna do is we are just gonna take the entire section where that point comes up to, right? So I'm just taking right on the outside of each triangle, and we're gonna pull this section just straight out from the head. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find my guide by pulling back what we just cut in the front, okay? So I'm just grabbing the top of that section, coming back, and that's gonna be my guide for what's gonna be underneath. Now all I'm gonna do is just take my razor, I'm gonna hold my hand steady, but I am gonna slide down, leaving her perimeter, leaving the length. So just again, taking the outsides, we're gonna pull this whole section up. We're gonna find our guide from where we started in the section previous. And then just take it down toward the length ends. And now I'm gonna do that all the way around. So there's our perimeter. You can already see the shape start to happen. We've kind of thinned out this perimeter some. We've let it collapse a little bit more towards the head, but we're still not uncovering the ears and creating some softness around that face, okay? So now we're gonna come up to the top. And like I said, it's very important to keep each section really wet while we are using a razor. Now what I'm gonna do is part her hair right in the middle. And we're gonna take diagonal back sections, about 1 inch wide. We're gonna elevate off the head, her bang, as a guide. And then we will travel that guide back, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing as we did underneath. And we're just gonna create a disconnection, okay? So we're just gonna seesaw this back and forth and let that fall right on top, okay? Diagonal back section, about 1 inch wide, holding straight out from the head. We're gonna take the top from the previous section, and that's gonna be our guide, and seesaw our way down. Now what I'm gonna do is continue the same thing all the way to the crown, and we're gonna do it on both sides. What ends up happening as you start to move back is your guide's gonna get a little bit longer because it is traveling, so you are gonna create a little bit of a short to long from the front to the back. Okay, so here's our finished product. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna re-wet before I add product, okay? And what this is gonna enable is for us to get a really good look at the natural texture of the hair. Just using a little bit of Redken's acidic bonding concentrate. I like it as a leave-in, but I do find that it gives a little bit of hold. So I'm gonna comb the product through. I'm gonna use the palms of my hand to put it into place, okay? We're gonna kind of push those bangs and push them. Take the sides, doing the same thing. I'm kind of using a grip motion at the bottom here and creating a slight wave. So I found that even with clients that don't have a ton of wave, you'll get just a little something when you kind of encourage it. So we're gonna be using the Sami dryer with the diffuser, and all I'm gonna do is just come in and encourage this wave and treat it like we're air styling it. Okay, and that's our finished product. I love how lived in it looks with our hand styling, the razor, and the zigzag sectioning. Just have fun and get creative with it. Don't forget to follow at Sami Skinner Hair. Thank you so much for watching, and definitely don't forget to follow Sambia Hair.